Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. So if you open up news channels, TV channels, finance channels, YouTube channel, you will see everyone talking about ki SIP kar do. You can build 100 crores of wealth. I have built 100 crores of wealth, this, that stuff, and you'll get very excited, start doing SIPs. Please listen to this video. It's going to be critical. There are 5 central points that I will teach you. I will show you the reality of SIP. And 5 points that I will teach you is that number 1, why I don't do SIPs, no SIPs at all. Number 2, why do I do bulk investing? Number 3, what are some other strategies that I use in order to generate some alpha? Number 4, who is SIPs right for? Because SIP is a very popular strategy. It's used by a lot of people. So who is the right kind of candidate to do SIPs? And finally, who is SIPs wrong for? This is something that literally no one is talking about. So I will take you through all of these 5 points. Okay. So let's begin. And first and foremost, many of you might be doing SIPs in the market. What is the meaning of SIP? That you get 1 lakh rupee of salary. And let's say that every month you are investing, let's say 30,000-40,000 rupees in mutual funds or in certain number of stocks or 1 or 2 stocks. Then irrespective whether that stock is going up or down, mutual fund is going up or down, market is going up or down, you continue to invest. So that style of systematic investment is called a systematic investment plan or SIP. Very easy, all of us get it. And this is one of the most popular strategies that people are using in the stock markets. Now comes the question that, okay, why is it that SIPs you are saying is not working out? See guys, this is like my perspective. It's not as if that I'm trying to push you कि भैया आप करो नहीं करो आपकी मर्जी जो करना है, it's your money, okay? What I'm trying to present to you is a different way of thinking, right? If it aligns with you, well and good. If it doesn't align with you, so be it. Investors are supposed to be different. That's how markets function, okay? See, my perspective on SIP is very simple and it has got less to do with finance and more to do with psychology. And this quote here beautifully captures why I don't do SIPs. Basically, let's imagine that there are only 100 stock market participants, people who invest in the stock markets. Let's say assume the number to be 100. Now, out of this, how many people do you think would be SIPing the market? Well, a major chunk of them. Here, we are not talking about general janta. We are talking about people who are already investing in the stock market, not trading in the stock market, investing. They would be doing in SIP mode. Okay. Now, if a strategy is very common, and if it has become very common over time, a natural question to ask is that, you know what, why is it that you'll be making like additional alpha on that strategy? And yeah, that's basically it. That if any strategy in the world becomes like very commonistic, why would you be making money on it? You might make average returns out of it. You might make sometimes above average returns out of it. But as a system which you are going to execute, let's say for the next 5 to 10 years, why would that system allow you to generate true wealth? So according to me, it would not help you generate true wealth. Now you'll say that, okay, that is your perspective. You might be wrong, this, that stuff. Because in the past, SIPs have given exceptional returns. So, okay, uske baare mein baat kar lete hain. When do you think the true adoption of Indian stock market happened? I would argue that after 2020, okay? And when you think SIP market picked up? Well, after 2020. Why? Because one click buying of stocks, one click buying after watching YouTube channels, one click buying after buying like news channels, buying stocks became really easy. कई लोग हाथ जले, right? I mean, खराब stocks खरीद लिए. And if you buy 10 stocks, you are going to mistake on 2-3. Okay, that's normal. There is nothing wrong. Every big investor understands that, and every big investor has lost money on some stocks. That's not the point. But when general janta starts to do that, they burn their hand and then they think, yaar, aisa chada FD kar lete, aisa chada SIP kar lete. So SIP started to become more and more common. And who are the ones preaching about SIPs? Well, number 1, mutual fund managers. वो जगह जगह जाके, you know what, okay, SIP करते चलो और SIP करते चलो. Okay, what is their incentive in SIP? भाई उनका straight 1 to 2% commission बनता है और like 0.5 to 2% commission बनता है, right? Depending on the type of product that they are selling you, right? So of course, it's a beneficial soda for them, right? In terms of the more SIPs there are, the more money they control. That's what the entire AUM game is. इसलिए HDFC, AMC जैसी कंपनियों में मेरा पैसा भी डबल हुआ है. Okay, so that's the bottom line, right? And this market is only picking up. That's point 1. Point 2 related to this is that, see, this has become an over-common strategy. If you go back like 15-20 years ago, hardly anyone was doing SIP in the market. बहुत कम लोग करते थे, right? हमें समझ में नहीं आता था लोगों को. People were just randomly buying things. It was very difficult to buy stocks. Now there is a system to SIP, right? And there is massive marketing around it. कि भाई धोनी लगे पड़े हैं, right? रोहित शर्मा लगे पड़े हैं कि अब SIP करो, SIP करो. Cricketers are telling you, mutual fund managers are telling you, big celebrities are telling you कि SIP ही सही है, SIP ही सही है. Entire campaigns have been built around it.
वही जो सब लोग सही है करते रहते हैं.
म्यूचुअल फंड्स में
SIP?
म्यूचुअल फंड्स में SIP.
So, is this something that will generate like returns? Of course, it will generate returns. I'm not saying that your returns will go to zero. What I'm saying is that will it generate alpha? So, which brings me to the second point as to why I do bulk investing and why that strategy, according to me, is much better than doing SIP. 3-4 examples देता हूँ. सबसे पहला तो मैं निफ्टी का ही दे देता हूँ because this is something that I've been saying over and over again. Okay, so for example, if you take a look at this chart, this I have shown at least on 10 of my videos. Just go and check in the last 10 odd videos, at least 3-4 mein I've shown you exactly this, and I've tried to predict what is going to happen and why it will happen, explained all the rational logic. Okay, so this is Nifty 50 chart, right? ये यहाँ पे गिरा, right, and यहाँ से इसका bounce back है, and this is a channel that is being respected over a long term. Okay, so यहाँ पे I had said कि भाई यहाँ पे खरीद लो भर भर के, right, and I also purchased like a lot, right? So we were saving something called as cash positions. कि usually if you invest on per month basis, let's say 1 lakh, right? ये आपका investment थी, तो let's say this is March, okay? Then April, right? मई, जून, जुलाई, अगस्त, सितंबर, अक्टूबर, नवंबर, राइट? तो 6-7 महीने का आपका टाइम निकल गया इसमें, राइट? तो आपके पास 8 लाख हो गए अप्रॉक्सीमेटली. So you keep saving 20% on the sidelines, and if you get an opportunity like this, bring it here. Okay, that is going to generate more returns for you. Okay, so this is like one strategy that I had followed over the last 7-8 months, right? And it has given me very good returns. This is something that I followed on even something like HDFC Bank. So यहाँ से आप देख सकते हो, I had invested close to 1 CR, and my returns on that is close to 25%. Now, how did I make 25% and general Janta is only making 15-16%? Why? Because I bought HDFC Bank on technicals when it was trading low. That was another bulk buy. Which other bulk buys am I doing? So I will reveal that also along the video if you watch the video till the very end. But the major point that I'm trying to explain you is very simple. That's it. If you are bulk investing mean जब मौका मिले तब चौका मारो, right? So that style of investing is called as bulk investing versus कि हर point पे invest करते चले जा रहे हैं. Okay, उसमें तो आपका average हो जाएगा, यहाँ पे आपको मिलेगा. Okay, so this line will be the average line. But if you get an opportunity to invest in bulk, then this is like what I would typically do, and I am doing on a series of investments. Now comes a very natural point ki, okay, you know, if we SIP, then we don't have to use our brain, right? And we can continue to invest. हमारे पास इतना time नहीं होता. We have like job, all that stuff. Okay, great. Okay, so I'll address this point that we have no time, right? So therefore, SIP is a great strategy for us. Okay, I'll comment on this. Okay. Number 2, that how much alpha will you make, right, if you do bulk, right? आप क्या कर सकते हो, okay? Number 3, that why are you saying that SIP in the future, right, will not work that much? Why will it go like sideways or it will not give you much returns? So let me discuss each of these 3 points and let me start with point number 3. कि see, अभी हो क्या रहा है कि in the Indian ecosystem or Indian taxation system, what is happening is that LTCG, right, long-term capital gains tax on equities has been brought to 12.5%. Okay, जब हम invest करते हैं, for example, हमने मान लो आज डाल दिया 100 rupees, right? And वो हो गए, let's say 130, right, after 2 years, right? What will we assume कि in 2 years we have made like 30% returns, okay? But is it really 30%? The short answer is no, because you have to pay LTCG on it, okay? So the returns that you need to understand in context of the broader market is that, for example, Nifty 50 is broad market. This is somewhat managed by the government, okay? The government decides how much returns to give you from Nifty 50 in a way. पार्लियामेंट में डिस्कशन होने लग जाती है कि मार्केट इतना गिर गया, उतना गिर गया, ऑल दैट स्टफ. नाउ दिस मार्केट, राइट, इट इज लाइकली टू गिव यू ऑन एन एवरेज, राइट, इन द लास्ट 20 years, Nifty 50 has given between 12 to 13% returns on a 20-year CAGR basis. This is unlikely to change, but what is likely to change is the taxation structure. So this is going to go up and up and up. Now this applies both for bulk investing also and SIPing also. But what I'm trying to tell you is that see, अगर आप आज से 20 साल पहले करते थे तो there was a tax alpha on it in a way कि आपको just because you are a market participant you used to make like higher returns because the capital gains on equities was lower. Now that is exactly the same as real estate, right? Now this is one, and second key thing is that it's not as if that you will make like additional alpha in the market. ये जो 12-13% पहले होता था ये अभी भी 12-13% ही रहेगा. It's not as if that this is going to rise like exponentially, okay? but taxes have gone up. So this will give you the illusion that, okay, fine, I was SIPing and I was growing my money at like this pace only. Now also I'm growing money at this pace only, but after tax, this strategy is not working out, okay? Because your effective after tax returns comes out to be like maybe 10.5%, 11% if you're doing in Nifty 50, okay? So this is like the future of SIP कि आप इतना expected return कर सकते हो, right? 10.5%, okay? So ये mathematically पहुंचना बहुत important था. So I hope that all of us get that. Why am I suggesting that if you continue to SIP in the broader market, your after tax return or the benchmark return that you need to beat is somewhere around like 10.5% after tax basis. Now, which brings me to the concept of bulk buying, right? Now, for example, here if you check, right, कि आपको यहाँ पे कितनी opportunity मिली. So, for example, यहाँ से देखो कि यहाँ पे how much opportunity did you get? Here the market itself corrected by 10.5%. Now, this is not the only point where the market had corrected by 10.5%. For example, 10% की fall एक बार यहाँ पे भी हुई थी, right? यहाँ पे भी हुई थी, right? This was another 10%, 15% fall. This was another 10-15% fall. This was another 10-15% fall. This was another between 10 to 15% fall. And ये मैं कहाँ से देख रहा हूँ? So from October of 2021. So in the last 3 odd years, you have found 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 situations or 5 points. In fact, उससे ज़्यादा ही होंगे. ये कितना fall है top से, right? So this is like 5%. So ऐसे बहुत सारे fall आपको मिलेंगे. At least 5 or 6 periods, right? 5 or 6 periods in the last 3 years, right? So on an average 2 periods per year where you will get to capture this 10% alpha. This becomes like your alpha generation points. Okay. Alpha means you're generating above market returns of 10.5%, which we have calculated from the previous section. Okay. So this is what we need to beat, right? Now, यहाँ पे आप एक simple सी बात बताओ that if you are buying the market here itself. Now, many people will say that you're trying to trade the market. No, I am investing in the market. I am following a broad trend. This is not just like technical investing. I'm looking at the broad trend, guessing that, okay, I'm getting to buy the asset at a good price, and then I'm pressing the execute trade, right? I'm still holding this asset. It's just that I'm buying the asset at the right point. So taking advantage of these type of opportunities becomes critical. So if you're not taking advantage of these type of opportunities, then generating alpha on the market becomes close to impossible. So this is the most important point why I am a bulk investor. I am not an SIP investor. Now then comes the next very critical point. You see, SIP is a very easy investment strategy to execute. That, I have a job. I don't have the time to study the market, figure out when this fall is happening, all that stuff. So मैं SIP करता चलूँगा, long term में तो बढ़ी जाएगी wealth. Yeah, see, again, coming back to that same argument, right now the market is 12.5% tax LTCG. What's the guarantee it will not be 25%? आप 30 years old हो, okay? आप SIP करते चले गए till the time you're 50. What's the guarantee it will not be 25%? What's the situation that you're struggling with? Well, you're struggling with something called as selling of the stock. Because घुसना तो बहुत आसान है stock में. आपको घर खरीदना है, बहुत आसान है. आप कहीं निकल जाओ सड़क पे, आपको 4 घर मिल जाएंगे which you can buy, right? So it's not as if that you will not be able to buy an asset. Similarly, stocks भरे पड़े हैं, right? I mean, if you want to throw money at something, it's very easy to spend like crazy amount of money any day. Buying is not the problem, but selling is. So whenever we start giving arguments like, boss, मुझे ना, like, I mean, who will put time in terms of like investing in the stock market? मैं तो SIP करता चला जाता हूँ. भाई, SIP doers just work to do SIPs. When do you exit, right? Tell me like a normal commonsensical response to that. You would not know when to exit your stocks. This is the precise problem with SIP doers. For example, यहाँ पे there was a clear opportunity to sell. मैं आपको एक और एग्जांपल दिखाता हूँ, एंड दिस इज समथिंग दैट आई हैव स्पोकन ऑन माय कम्युनिटी आल्सो. जैसे निफ्टी आईटी मैं आपको बताता हूँ. जैसे यहाँ से मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल ये दिस इज द लॉन्ग टर्म ट्रेडिंग चैनल ऑफ निफ्टी आईटी. अगर आपको टेक्निकल्स आते हैं थोड़े बहुत, तो दिस इज समथिंग दैट यू विल बी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड. दिस इज अ कंसोलिडेशन पॉइंट, राइट? द चांसेस आर कि देखो यार इसमें ब्रेकआउट हो जाए, इसमें फिर वो वापस आ जाए, या एक तरीके का नया चैनल बना ले. फॉर एग्जाम्पल समथिंग लाइक दिस विल गेट फॉर्म. सो ऑफ कोर्स आवर स्ट्रैटेजी माइट चेंज, बट डज इट मेक सेंस टू होल्ड like too much Nifty 50 right now? According to me, it doesn't make much sense, right? To hold too much Nifty 50 right now. This is a chance where you can lower your positions. Can that strategy go wrong? Of course. But the point is that it's not as if that you will take a loss. Loss कब होता है जब आपको पता ही नहीं है. When you have no idea about when to sell a stock or when to sell an asset. So that is when real problem actually begins. And SIP doers really struggle with when to sell a stock or when to sort of stop their SIPs or take a break from doing SIPs. So that start-stop approach hardly ever works. So let me now show you what loss to SIP doers actually suffer with, right? So for example, take a look at Equitas Small Finance, right? So this was in my portfolio. I had invested close to like maybe 40 lakhs, 50 lakhs, right? I doubled my money and then I cut almost like 50-60% of it, right? Somewhere here, right? Why? Because this channel was being respected. So आप कहीं पे भी यहाँ पे भी position cut करते, थोड़ी यहाँ पे भी lower करी, यहाँ पे भी lower करी. So this is the way to lower your positions. And उसके बाद क्या हुआ है? उसके बाद गिरा है. Now, was I able to withdraw all my money? Absolutely not. But let's say that I started with 40 lakhs. It went to 80. राइट सो 40 का तो मैंने प्रॉफिट ही बुक कर लिया उस पे, राइट. सो दिस वाज वन. वट एवर 40 आई एम लेफ्ट विद, उसको अगर वो नीचे भी चला गया तो उसकी वैल्यू जीरो थोड़ी हो गई, राइट. सो दैट्स द सिंपल पॉइंट, राइट. सो दिस इज द एडवांटेज. Even if you consider that small finance banks were great to SIPs in, by the way, I still feel that Equitas Small Finance or Ujjivan Small Finance are good stocks. It's just that they are going through a temporary problem because there is higher credit risk in the economy right now. That does not make these stocks bad, right? What happens is that every stock goes through a cycle. And you have to go through that cycle in order to make money. Now, SIP doers, because they don't understand when to sell a stock, it becomes a problem for them to even fathom when to kind of upward average things or downward average things. Now, if I truly believe in that stock, जो मेरा profit था, I can pump it now again here, right? And wait for better times. तब वो नीचे से ऊपर चला जाएगा. So that is how your bigger portfolio gets created. Your bigger alphas get created. So then comes the next point that, okay, what are some other methods that we can talk about? Because you have already spoken about bulk buying methods. So are there other things, other stocks that you're looking at? So I'm just discussing it for education purpose, right? So अगर आप हिंदुस्तान यूनिलीवर स्टॉक देखो, right? So ये इसका ट्रेडिंग चैनल है, मैं वो बना देता हूँ आपके सामने. So this is हिंदुस्तान यूनिलीवर लॉन्ग टर्म ट्रेडिंग चैनल इन अ वे, राइट. अगर आप इसको एक्सटेंड कर लो तो दिस इज व्हाट द ट्रेडिंग चैनल वुड लुक लाइक रफली. ओके, Hindustan Unilever stock, if it returns back to this trading channel, there is almost a 34% alpha on it. Now, is this in a bulk buying zone? Yes. Have I made money in the past by trading Hindustan Unilever stock in a way? Yes. So this is a bulk buying zone. There is no way I would be doing like an SIP on Hindustan Unilever stock and all that stuff. आप खरीदो. Right now there is like massive problem that is happening, like in terms of like what the consumption is. Consumption slowdown is there, volume growth is there, Indian economy is not growing. Hindustan Unilever type of stocks getting badly hit, Nestle getting badly hit. This becomes the time to bulk buy these type of stocks. So this is the first strategy, that you need to trade the channel and buy in bulk buying zones. This is something that I explained earlier on my videos also. And this is something that I'm emphasizing even now. So this is your strategy number one, that within good stocks, you figure out good stocks in the market, buy them at bulk buying zone. Tomorrow on my member community, I'm going to talk more about this. So this is one. In case you're a serious investor, serious learner, please consider joining my member community. Very serious community. They learn from each other, understand contrary opinions. So that's one. Second is that you can go to a different asset class altogether. For example, here is a video that I had done on Swiggy. At that point in time, I had purchased Swiggy at 360 rupees. Go and check the price now. It's somewhere around 520. When was this video made? Check the date. Okay. What am I trying to tell you? When I did this video, there was so much negativity. Hi, loss making company hai. Swiggy कैसे बढ़ेगी? भाई आपने Zomato की story नहीं देखी. Is Zomato not a good company? Was it not loss making when it IPO'd? It was loss making. Everyone understood how the trajectory of Zomato played out. Swiggy is exactly on that trajectory. It's not as if that I said something genius on that video. It's just that I had conviction and I live invested close to 40 lakhs. So therefore, I feel that my second strategy right now, which is working, is that I'm going to the unlisted space. I'm picking a lot of assets there now. Very good assets in the market. For example, आपका SBI AMC हो गया, आपका NSE हो गया, OYO हो गया. There are very good set of companies. This is not a recommendation that you go and buy. All I'm simply trying to tell you is that at least study good stocks in unlisted space that matches your investment theme. Because why? Because there is hardly any talk that is happening on unlisted space. जब लोग वीडियो बनाते हैं एक्चुअली एजुकेशनल उन पे हिट आती है, राइट, कि वो लॉस मेकिंग कंपनी स्विगी, भाई यूज नहीं करते आप स्विगी. यू यूज इट, बिजनेस इज ग्रोइंग, बिजनेस इज डूइंग एक्सेप्शनली वेल. ना आप कोई बड़ा खिलाड़ी ने रिपोर्ट निकाल दी एंड सडनली द स्टॉक बिकेम 520. सब भूल गए कि अक्षत वाज टॉकिंग अबाउट इट एट 360. ओके, सो दिस इज लाइक वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट दैट आई विल हाईलाइट. ऑफ कोर्स योर बेट्स कैन गो डाउन. आई एम नॉट सेइंग दैट माय एवरी बेट विल वर्क आउट, बट there is a system that you can create in order to not take these type of hits. So this is second strategy, that you go to unlisted space. Your third strategy is called as cash hedge strategy, right? So cash hedge का मतलब क्या होता है कि for example, and this you play on really safe assets. For example, Bank Nifty is a safe asset. Why Bank Nifty is a safe asset or safer asset? Because it's not as if ki Bank Nifty is going to correct by like 70-80%. Okay, it's unlikely. Equitas Small Finance can, right? Or Ujjivan can, or even HDFC can. But Bank Nifty, which is the collection of all banking stocks in India, that is not going to fall by like 70-80% or get crushed, okay, unless the entire Indian economy falls for some reason, okay. And this is something that I did also. So for example, आप यहाँ पे देख सकते हो कि Bank Nifty में I had like more than 1 CR position, right, which is substantial position for me also, all bulk bought, okay. So ये Bank Nifty रहा. Now is it at a great level to buy? No, this is somewhere in the middle, right. So इसमें लेकिन तभी भी थोड़ा सा स्कोप है, right, बढ़ने का. So इसमें you just analyze your risk reward. अगर आपको उसमें 10-11% का रिटर्न दिखता है तो this is something that you could potentially consider. Right now there is a return potential of 11.5%. So it kind of makes sense to do this strategy on a safer asset. Now the fourth and final point is that you need to understand macro cycles. For example, there is a video that I made and I will link it here somewhere where I explained why government spending is slowing down, and this was before the GDP release data video, right? So the government spending is coming down. So there is going to be a sector rotation. In fact, it is already happening from government to private spending or private consumption segments. Right now, there is a lot of noise that India में consumption पता नहीं बढ़ भी पाएगा कि नहीं बढ़ पाएगा. भाई सब बढ़ेगा. And companies like Swiggy are going to benefit. A lot of unlisted stocks are going to benefit. HUL, Nestle type of companies are going to benefit. Series of other luxury players are going to benefit. So now it's time that you rotate within these macro themes early, right? And take the hit over the next 6-8 months. And that's how real alpha will be made. Now, final point, many of you get scared कि stock market के बारे में कौन सीखेगा, SIP करते चले जाते हैं. तो please remember the math that you are going to make not more than 10-11% consistently in the market if you're a pure SIP doer. Because you have zero understanding of rotating capital, taking opportunistic bets, cash hedging your portfolio. The important point is find balance. No one is asking you that you invest like, 10 hours, 20 hours learning about the stock market. But at least have the basic sense of picking basics of stock investing and figuring out a way to make these things work for you. Now, in case you guys are interested, I'm running a course, right? This is a live course which will be completed over 2 weekends, completely online. You'll get access to recordings as well. It has a batch size of 200 people. The seats are filling out fast, so you can check the links in the description and comment box, and everything will be taught to you from scratch. So in case you feel that you can benefit from it, you could consider joining. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.